Frontier are launching the first of a new generation of ship-launched vessels into the game on the 30th of June in the shape of the Nomad. The Nomad is something we haven't seen in Elite Dangerous before, a ship-launched vessel that isn't designed to be combat-centric and can land on a planet's surface. As a Frontier partnered content creator, we've had advanced access to a preview version of the ship, and in this video we'll dig into all the nitty gritty details on the Nomad and tell you exactly what it is and, importantly, what it isn't. First things first then, the Nomad is a ship launched vessel that can be deployed from a new Mark II vessel hangar module. Initially FDEV had intended for the new hangar to only be fitted to the Caspian, the Type 11 and the Panther Clipper, but after taking into account no small amount of community feedback on the issue, they've wound back that idea and will be releasing a new Mark I version of the hangar that is heavier and less efficient, but it can be fitted to all the legacy starships that could take an SLF hangar before. The hangar is available in sizes 5 through 7. The size 5 hangar can handle 1 Nomad, the 6 and 7 can house 2. It's worth noting as well that with this update all the game's variants of fighter hangars will be renamed vessel hangars going forward. Whilst you can launch a Nomad anywhere you can launch a regular SLF, including the depths of space, the tidy little ship is aimed very squarely at the explorer market and it can't be outfitted to perform any other functions, and it's very specifically aimed at the exobiology arm of that sub-community. The version we got to try out is armed with 2 fixed pulse lasers, but if you're looking to use the ship for combat against anything other than another Nomad, then you're likely not going to be doing it for very long. Whilst the Nomad launches and feels very much like a more traditional SLF, it really is a full auxiliary spacecraft that belongs to the owner commander. You therefore don't inhabit the ship by telepresence, you are actually in the ship when it launches, and it can't be used by NPC crewmates or other commanders. It's your ship and yours alone. And whilst it can only dock in its mother vessel, the ship is so small that you can easily land it in the middle of a surface settlement if you desire. If you die whilst it's in the settlement, exactly the same as an SRV, the Nomad will helpfully explode, hurting any commanders near it at the time. There is a small degree of confusion at the moment around how rebuys are handled with the Nomad. Currently on the preview build they appear to be infinite and free, but the tooltip on the new hangars also mentions rebuys limited to 30. We've reached out to FDEV for clarification on how it's going to work when it reaches the live servers, but as at the time of recording we don't have a definite answer yet. As well as handling all your Nomad needs, the larger 2 of the new vessel hangar modules can also hold a ship launched fighter, and you can have any mix of SRVs, SLFs and Nomads deployed all at the same time if you wish. This functionality almost turns the larger of the ships in the Elite Dangerous pantheon into very effective mini carriers of sorts. Amongst the Nomad's unique set of features is an exobiology scanner that can be activated from the cockpit during flight. This is the same functionally as the handheld biology discovery pulse that can be found ordinarily on the Artemis spacesuit. As the pulse wave travels out from the ship, it highlights any biologicals it finds on the heads up display within a short radius from the Nomad. It's worth noting, as you can see on screen now, the pulse, despite travelling quite far, will only highlight exobiological surface details that have already spawned ahead of the ship, and the draw distance on these objects is extremely short in Elite Dangerous, so whilst the pulse might be streaming out far ahead of you, it's only effective against objects that have spawned because they're relatively close by. Likewise, if you're travelling too fast, the bio objects won't get the opportunity to spawn before they're already behind you, so low and slow is the order of the day to get the absolute best out of this one of the Nomad's headline features. If however you are using the bio scanner like that, i.e. low and slow, I'm happy to report that it is hugely effective, and I have no qualms whatsoever about recommending it as the de facto way to scan for bios going forward. Discovering bios is however only part of the equation and would be useless if you couldn't get to the plant signal to sample it with your Artemis suit Dyson plant gunning hooverizing thing. The second of the Nomad's features leans even further into its Exobio toolset DNA. As you can see from the comparison screenshot on screen now, whilst it's significantly bigger than an SRV and slightly bigger than an SLF, the Nomad is still a tiny ship with a tiny footprint, and no, you can't drive your SRV into the back of the SLV. The inbuilt tolerance that the ship also has for slopes and rough terrain allows the SLV to touch down just about anywhere. It's honestly actually quite hard to find somewhere it won't land. In the dark days before the Nomad, searching for an Exobio signal on mountain tops was largely reliant on the liberal use of some Eyeballs 1.0 hardware coupled with an SRV, a hill climbing skill set and a huge dollop of patience. Invariably, even if you discovered your quarry from the comfort of a Starship cockpit, you couldn't find a spot big enough to land said Starship that was also conveniently close to the target blade of space grass. This usually resulted in landing on the flatlands below the mountains and then trekking up to altitude in an SRV and hoping that your eyeballs could find the evasive vegetables again. With a Nomad in tow however, the entire loop changes. You can detect the plant from the cockpit, land right next to it regardless of how inhospitable the terrain is, pop out in your Artemis suit and grab the sample. If, quite frankly like me, you'd given up ever hoping to take Exobio seriously because of its SRV and hill climbing requirements etc, then I can confirm that with a Nomad it's very roundly back on the table and extremely achievable. The Nomad also comes with a data scanner as well as the usual composition scanner, and so major data material collection locations like Jameson's crash site for example can be completely ravaged in mere seconds using its manoeuvrability and tiny footprint. As well as being a significant additional tool in the arsenal of the galaxy's exobiologists, the Nomad does have a number of other very unique features. The words full ship interior are being thrown around quite a lot at the moment. That's not inaccurate, but it does come with some caveats. And those words, when talking about the Nomad, should probably always be deployed in inverted commas. The Nomad functions kind of like a flying SRV that can boost to around 450 meters a second. To jump into the driver's seat you navigate the same SRV menu that you'll already be used to. The big difference with the Nomad is that the menu pops up when you're standing in the hollow at the back of the ship and the seat you're being teleported into is right next to you, just an arm's length away. It kind of is a ship interior and it kind of isn't, but it's using a clever sleight of hand to achieve the impression of a full ship interior, and for many, in this ship at least, that will be close enough, and I have to admit the effect it achieves is extremely cool. When you exit the seat you're spawned back into the interior hollow again, and the three large doors that then open in the sides and rear present you with a choice of exit points. Very useful when the Nomad is clinging to a hillside with a rare vegetable on one side of it and a sheer 400 foot drop on the other. It's actually this ability to choose where you exit the vehicle in such circumstances that gives the interior, in inverted commas, its utility. Aside from that, the space at the rear of the cockpit is an empty void. Aside from the aforementioned not falling off a cliff function, it would remain an empty void unless you want to part with some arcs to put an interior ship kit in it of course. Yes really, interior ship kits are now a thing in Elite Dangerous. The interior specific ship kit, simply called the Science Kit, has two options, and the interior void of the Nomad will be populated with a mix of microscopes, cabinets, bio-storage containers and more to at least allude to further functionality in the science vein, if not actually providing any. And I can attest, whilst it's not functional in any real regard, I did find it deeply cool, and amongst those with the arcs balance to handle it I can see it being popular. Cool is a word you're likely going to hear thrown around a lot in discussions around how FDev have chosen to handle the interior space of the Nomad, by the way. As with all the previous ARK's early access ships, the Nomad will also ship on day one with a number of other ship kits. Amongst those kits is one called the Rambler kit, and if you fit the door segment of that kit to the Nomad, as well as putting the familiar industrial style bull bars on the outside of the doors, it will fit cargo nets filled with bags and boxes of stuff to the inside of the doors. Again, it's quite cool. Whether the Nomad is something that you want to spend real money on or you want to use once it comes out of early access is going to be a very personal decision and is driven largely by your relationship to the existing Exobio solutions in the game and how you feel about driving an SRV up a mountain. I have an exploration account out in the deep black and I largely don't engage with Exobio at all, as quite honestly I find the current hunting with eyeballs from a ship or SRV or using the Dyson Pulse widget thingy on foot frustrating and nowhere near time efficient enough. The arrival of the Nomad will completely turn that on its head. For me, it now makes Exobio both achievable and more accessible. No matter what way you cut it, the Nomad is a game changer for a number of reasons, primarily in the field of exobiology but also through the intriguing technological changes its interior space brings to the game's future potential. Frontier has announced the ARK's prices of the various options for its early access period, and you can see those on screen now. The Nomad arrives in early access to the game on June the 30th as part of the operations update. Will you be picking up a Nomad during its early access period? Did you guess that this is how we'd be boarding the Nomad? And what else would you like to see a future ship launched vessel do? Let us know in the comments below. If you've enjoyed this video, remember to subscribe to the channel so that you see all our videos and community posts, and if you'd like to support our work here at the Buur Pit, you can also join us on Patreon. Links to that and everything else we've talked about in this video you'll find linked below. That's it for now. Thanks very much for watching. We very much look forward to seeing you next time.